The 2023 Global Slavery Index, produced by a human rights organization, Walk Free Foundation, in its overview on the study for Nigeria, states that Nigeria is outperforming its neighbors in its efforts to address modern-day slavery in the country. It also states that Nigeria has the strongest response to modern-day slavery in Africa. You're watching NAPTIP On The Move. My name is Angela Agbegi. Now let's find out why Nigeria has the strongest response to modern-day slavery in Africa. This is NAPTIP On The Move.
The fight against human trafficking is a complex one, involving multi-dimensional challenges. Despite this, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons remains undaunted and has intensified efforts to ensure a human trafficking-free nation by fully employing its five-pronged approach of policy, protection, prosecution, prevention, and partnership. In 2022, NAPTIP launched 3 national policy documents, including the Protocol for Identification, Safe Return and Rehabilitation of Trafficked Persons, National Policy on Protection and Assistance to Trafficked Persons in Nigeria, and the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria 2022 to 2026. The National Action Plan 2022 to 2026 is the document designed to provide a national blueprint for effective and efficient coordination of anti-trafficking interventions on human trafficking in Nigeria. The implementation of the provisions of these documents have since commenced and is yielding results.
The National Action Plan has what you call the Monitoring and Evaluation Accountability Framework, and the key stakeholder, also one of the key stakeholders, because it's at different levels. You have technical level accountability framework, you have state level, then you have policy level. At the state level, we've started the engagement with state task forces, which have been established in Nigeria, and the goal is to actually go to all the 36 states of the country. The state task forces are comprised of different sectors of the economy of the states. And basically part of their TOR is also to do a lot of prevention and of course a lot of investigation, and then providing early warning signals to NAPTIP, because in the state task force composition you have law enforcement agencies, NSCDC, immigration, police, you even have DSS in some of the states, and then you have the traditional rulers, you have NGOs. So everybody using their mandates, the leverage on their areas of strength to bring value to the state task force operation in the different states. And we are doing what we call the boot camp, which is like a scorecard workshop to bring all the state task forces together who are at different levels of development, and to have them assess, do a reflection, an internal reflection, and provide key promising practices and achievements they've been able to achieve in their states. And all of these promising practices and good practices that some of the state task forces were able to share during the boot camp has been documented into a compendium of good practices, which we intend to launch later on in the year. I would say so far Nigeria has done great, and NAPTIP has done well in terms of engaging with partners on the National Action Plan and making sure that everybody keys into it. It's not just a NAPTIP document, it is all our document, because we are all working towards it.
In recent times, NAPTIP has ensured consistent capacity building of officers to keep abreast with current trends in human trafficking and has also inaugurated a cybersecurity response team to combat cyber crimes, including sextortion. Preventing human trafficking informs diverse activities, from advocacy visits to sensitization of the general public, transport companies, markets, religious institutions, traditional rulers and tertiary institutions. For the secondary schools, the agency is inaugurating the Trafficking in Persons and Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Vanguards. Over 80 schools have been inaugurated so far. NAPTIP's social media handles are recording increased engagement on a daily basis with reports of cases, inquiries and more due to the amplification of the agency's reporting channels. The short code 627 is responsible for the highest number of calls at the agency's 24-hour call center. Protection of victims has greatly improved with diverse interventions and programs to enhance rehabilitation. The quarterly Survivors Co-Mentoring Series, which was curated with the survivors of human trafficking, is very engaging, providing counseling, psychosocial support, physical and mental clinic, and more. Today, victims at the NAPTIP shelters are meaningfully engaged and are happy and commend the Director General, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, for recent developments.
NAPTIP have helped us to make sure that we are okay, we are comfortable, no trouble, nothing, the traumas, they are helping us with the counselings. I really thank NAPTIP and I appreciate Director General for everything that she has done for us. She has really been a mother to us. She's kind, we love her, and we tell her thank you, ma, God bless you.
I'm very happy for everything they have done for us in this shelter.
NAPTIP's partnership with national, regional and international organizations has been strengthened. The agency is collaborating with all and sundry because human trafficking affects everyone. Religious leaders, traditional rulers, educational institutions, sister law enforcement agencies, federal and state ministries, departments and agencies, civil society organizations including NACTOL, development partners including the UNODC, IOM, FIAP, Expertise France and more.
NAPTIP has been a strong partner for IOM. Our relationship really has strengthened, not because things have changed in terms of our operations, but because of the leadership. I think we see a revamped NAPTIP in the way the ideas are coming through. We are very happy with the MOUs that are being signed on counter-trafficking with our neighboring countries, and we are committed to supporting NAPTIP to implement them, to operationalize those ones. We are very excited about the NAP, and we are more than happy to support. There's a lot of coordination that we're seeing coming from NAPTIP, calling all the partners to understand what is happening in the trafficking space and how they want to coordinate those things. So overall, I think we are seeing great things.
So I want to say that by and large, NAPTIP has done very well. More still needs to be done. The leadership is not relenting. So we are appealing to the government of Nigeria and international development partners to continue to support the effort of the present administration of NAPTIP. And from our own end, we will say kudos to the Director General. Thank you for the partnership, for the meaningful collaboration with civil society organizations.
These collaborations are instrumental to NAPTIP's achievements in the fight against human trafficking. Perhaps the most important is the agency's prosecution efforts, because every victim must get justice. This NAPTIP has ensured with its strengthened collaboration with the judiciary. The recent continuous engagement with judges in collaboration with the National Judicial Institute informed the agency's record of 80 convictions in 2022, the highest since the inception of NAPTIP. In 2023, the agency has already secured 47 convictions and counting.
NAPTIP has recorded more convictions than it has ever had in 1 year. And this can be attributed to the fact that the Director General has been having engagements with the judiciary. So the judiciary are aware of NAPTIP, they are aware of cases of human trafficking, and they give it the importance it deserves.
Then when we come to the issue of prosecution, we've never seen it this good. This is a landmark achievement that has not been achieved in so many years. So we have seen more diligent prosecution of cases of trafficking in persons across all the zonal commands, the state commands, and even some liaison offices identifying and prosecuting more cases of trafficking. And then, of course, referral of cases, interagency collaboration has also improved tremendously, and it has contributed to the number of convictions that have been secured.
Some of these efforts are instrumental to the recent 2023 Global Slavery Index produced by human rights organization Walk Free Foundation, which states in the overview of its study that Nigeria is outperforming its neighbors in its efforts to addressing modern slavery risks in the country. Nigeria had the strongest response to modern slavery in Africa, reflecting strong criminal justice mechanisms to address modern slavery, as well as steps taken to support survivors, address risk factors, coordinate the response, including by launching a new national action plan. All these efforts and global recognition of Nigeria's enhanced fight against human trafficking is attributed to the pragmatic, focused and phenomenal leadership of the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi.
One of the first things I want to recognize, as I think this is important, she's a result-oriented person. You know, leading an institution like this, of course, every individual in the institution has its own goals, its own objective to achieve, to make the total of the institution. And in this aspect, I give very high value the fact that she set up her 4-point strategic focus or priorities. This is important. You have to know what you want to achieve, and you have to know how to do it. The second thing is that in doing this, once you have your goals, of course, you have to know the way to achieve it, how to do that. And in this how to do that, one of the things that I find very important is coordination. She's doing efforts toward interinstitutional coordination, but not only, also she's doing effort in terms to coordinate and bring together the international partners working with NAPTIP, and this is very important.
We can see NAPTIP everywhere right now. I call NAPTIP a forefront agency in Nigeria, and all this is because of visionary leadership by the Director General, her tenacity, she's hardworking, so you can see the drive is there, the compassion, it's there for victims of human trafficking. So the quest to save and to bring succor to Nigerians, it's evident in NAPTIP.
With the resolve, commitment and dedication of the current management of NAPTIP, it is evident that Nigeria is not just leading in the fight against human trafficking, but is set to record more milestones in its fight to ensure a human trafficking-free nation. Indeed, NAPTIP is on the move.
Indeed, the current management of NAPTIP is committed to ending human trafficking in Nigeria. To bring you up to speed with what's new with NAPTIP, here's our event segment. Keep watching. The maiden joint Project Steering Committee meeting on human trafficking and migrant smuggling project in Nigeria, organized by implementing partners, including the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Expertise France, International Organization for Migration, and International Center for Migration Policy Development, recently held in Abuja. The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, delivered the welcome address.
It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this joint Project Steering Committee meeting on Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants project in Nigeria. It is fantastic seeing partners collaborate for a common purpose and share attribution. It is important to note that for the first time, the donor community, implementing partners, implementing government agencies, and civil society organizations will sit in a room together to exchange views on various targeted projects being implemented across the country. This brings with it an opportunity for us to assess the level and effectiveness of these projects in theory and in practice. The aim of this meeting is in sync with the aspirations of the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria 2022 to 2026, which assigns rules to all stakeholders and seeks to harmonize the counter-trafficking interventions of donor agencies in Nigeria. Let me use this opportunity to thank the governments of Italy, the Netherlands, Switzerland, United States, Canada, the European Union, UNODC, IOM, Expertise France, and ICMPD for making today a reality. Now, I believe we can all agree on the enormity of the problem we face as a country regarding issues of human trafficking and migrant smuggling. While we have made progress in our criminal justice response with a significant increase in convictions, prosecution of several mutual legal assistance cases and extradition, we must not lose sight of the challenges that lay ahead and bask in the ambience of the present. Rather, we must continue to scale our efforts and extend our reach. The objective of this Joint Project Steering Committee meeting is to enhance the coordination of the various projects, eliminate duplication of efforts, enhance efficient use of resources, and ensure maximum service delivery.
The chairman of the meeting, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, was represented by Dr. Lanre Adekonye, Director, International Cooperation.
The initiative for a joint steering committee involving relevant stakeholders towards addressing the challenge of trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants is a welcome development. The Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning is gratified to be among the institutions invited. We remain committed to facilitating the support of our development partners and to ensure effective coordination and synergy of the national initiatives for sustainable development. The overall objective is to improve governance of the migration sector in Nigeria with specific focus on the fight against trafficking of persons and smuggling of migrants for a win-win situation with the destination countries. In line with the mandate for national development planning, the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning will leave no stone unturned in facilitating the sectoral initiatives for achievement of the targets to curtail both rural, urban, and transboundary migration.
Country representative of the UNODC, Dr. Oliver Stope, spoke on the purpose of the meeting, while officials from donor countries, including the Kingdom of Netherlands, Canada, Switzerland, and the United States Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, delivered goodwill messages. Officials of the Federal Ministry of Justice, National Judicial Institute, ECOWAS, and the Nigeria Immigration Service also made speeches.
The Nigerian Immigration Service, as well as other law enforcement agencies, has witnessed an increased government effort, enhanced penalties, improved education and awareness, enhanced border security and international cooperation in fighting criminal networks involved in trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants. These international collaborations range from engaging in diplomatic cooperation with neighboring countries to deter human trafficking and smuggling of migrants.
Thereafter, the presentation of achievements and key priorities for July to December 2023 were made by officials of the UNODC, Expertise France, IOM, and ICMPD. The forum was very interactive, and there were recommendations to scale up funding for counter-trafficking activities and improve engagement with the judiciary. The meeting ended with a closing remark by the Regional Director of Expertise France, Alexandro Rabiosi. This synergy will strengthen the fight against human trafficking and migrant smuggling in Nigeria. Officials of the Nigerian law enforcement agencies, including the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri-Azi, were recently on a study visit to Eurojust and Europol at The Hague, Netherlands. The visit is geared towards strengthening cooperation, reciprocity, and also to provide assistance during prosecution and investigation of cases on organized crimes affecting Nigeria and European jurisdictions. Other law enforcement agencies from Nigeria include the Federal Ministry of Justice, EFCC, NDLEA, Nigeria Immigration Service, and NAPTIP. There were also participants from the West African Network of Central Authorities and prosecutors from Ghana, the Gambia, Niger, and Cape Verde. The trip was facilitated by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. The State High Court in Maiduguri, presided over by Honorable Justice M. Maina, has sentenced a 28-year-old male, Kaumi Hassan, to 18 months imprisonment for the attempted sexual exploitation of a 1-year, 6-month-old infant. The offense is contrary to Section 29 of the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition, Enforcement and Administration Act 2015. In Port Harcourt, River State, a federal high court presided over by Honorable Justice Phoebe Ayua has sentenced a 36-year-old female, Caroline Ben, on a 2-count charge. Count 1, 3.5 years imprisonment and a fine of 1 million naira for an attempt to promote foreign travel of a victim from Port Harcourt, Nigeria, to Ivory Coast for prostitution. Count 2, 2 years imprisonment and a fine of 150,000 naira for the recruitment of the victim by means of deception from Port Harcourt, Nigeria to Ivory Coast for the purpose of exploitation. The sentences are to run concurrently. The victim is also to pay the sum of 500,000 naira as compensation to the victim. Before I say goodbye, let's bring you an account of a victim. Don't go away.
My mom may carry me and go give another person. And another person now wants to take care of me, let me go to school. They did not put me on school, they now started flogging me. If they go to work, the husband used to flog me if I do something where go fear no much will flog me. If she sent me message, I did not go to what she sent me, she will carry something and flog me, come on blood. And I used to wash clothes and mop and wash toilets and soup and wash their picking clothes and clean chairs. She don't used to take care of me. Her husband go to work, she will keep small food for me. If you reach in the afternoon, the husband go remain. If I tell her say I want to eat, she will not give me food, only small food she will remain for me. One time I washing plate, the woman, her husband now call me and I break one plate, they now carry the plate and break my head. People where they work out for there, if I come outside, they will check my body. They now say, if this man go kill this girl, it's better that we call police, make the police come and carry this girl. The people now call police now, they now direct them. They now come the woman house, now carry us, now ask the woman say is the same mother born me. It's a lie. They are lying, let me stay, let them flog me. Every morning I used to wake early. I don't used to sleep. That's why NAPTIP now bring me out from there. NAPTIP, thank you, God bless you for what you done for me.
For more inquiries and support or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627 or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria or watch our videos on YouTube.
Our time is up, but I must thank you for watching and urge you to keep a date with us next week. I'm Angela Agbegi. See you soon.